Ugh, easy. Patching up a blaster wound isn't the same as a cut or a gash. It's cauterized, burnt, by concentrated photons. There's no patching it up. There is only cleaning. Here. Place this stim kit over the wound and wrap it around my torso. It has an autodock inside. It assesses the wound and provides the optimal care. Yeah, it is hard to come by, but this ship is equipped with one because it's a Kavari military vessel. Now stolen property. Still far better than anything primitive. It renders those practices you would have had on your own world ineffective and irrelevant. It is superior in all ways. Those eyes again. Look, it's one of the reasons why I supported a full Novaran takeover. We would bring our supreme innovation to all galaxies, in an effort to halt their destruction and further their advancement. Little did I know, General Crux was perpetuating that destruction for his own gain. Now, I'm just a fool who believed in his mission for far too long, until it was far too late. That will be the only time you hear me call myself a fool again. So cherish it, for those words will never leave my lips once more. God! Okay, now I think you're doing that on purpose. Not to mention, we have this. In an attempt to gather proof against General Crux, we needed Gennari's black box. That would have held the evidence of his wrongdoing. Instead, there was no black box. There was only this Terith scout. He's unconscious, but alive. If we hadn't shown up when we did, he would have been killed. Leads me to believe that whatever evidence that is incriminating Crux isn't on any hard drive or device. It's inside this Terith's mind. It's not as good, but I guess it's still something. I just fail to see how that gives us any hard evidence. But we'll have to wait until he wakes up and recovers so we can interrogate. Question him. What? Old habits die hard. Also, to complete our deal, I told Tass to send correspondence back to Shiver about his hatchery. Place is cleared, but he'll have to give it a few days before he can collect it. It's gonna be crawling with Kavari investigators after Crux finds out his creepy son got murked there. Once the heat dies down, then it's all his again. We just need to know what this Terith knows about Gennari and her intel on Crux. But, knowing the Terith, he's going to demand diplomacy and ask to be returned to Novaros, a place we can't quite go back to without proper evidence. The testimony of one Blue Eyes isn't going to hold that much weight in a trial. So what I'm saying is he better have something good, or else he's basically useless and we'll drop him off at the next stop. We can't keep picking up strays, Space Dust. Supplies for us fugitives is already hard to come by. Keeping another sniveling Terith mouth around would only complicate things. Especially with a ship full of Kavari hard-asses. I know I've told you about the divide between the Blue Mara and the Red Mara. The Terith and the Kavari. We are the same people, just vastly different cultures. And it's that culture shock that leads to the mass tension between our peoples. which is why each of us usually keeps to ourselves and has our own governing bodies, save for the High Council. The Terith are the erudite and innovative folk that prefer democracy and civil structures. While you're probably more familiar with us Kavari, who are less bound by social constructs and are impulsive in nature, we prefer actions over lip service. Hence the conquest rather than diplomacy. It's faster, and it's more effective than envoys to initiate talks and agreements while the damage is moving forward on that planet's ecosystem. Our clashing ideologies pit our people against each other, at least for those who can't separate belief from daily life. There are places we both intermingle, like Bahans or nectar houses. But those places are seen as countercultural by the Elder. They're seen as places for the ignorant youth. They promote unity, and have succeeded slightly, because there's now a population of those who would see a great compromise between the two. But that movement is still in its infancy. And too many people still enjoy the grudge held across the table. They prefer all the games and posturing and political circus of having a rival. I, for one, haven't fully agreed with a Terith on anything. Nosy little pricks usually kind of piss me off. So don't expect my bedside manner to improve when this guy wakes up. Just the sound of his entitled little voice is going to drive me insane. I bet he's not going to be thrilled when he wakes up being surrounded by Kavari either. And he won't even know what you are. So yeah, I say give the Blue Mara his space when he comes to. Probably still thinks he's in a dangerous situation and will most likely refuse to cooperate from the start. That's how I see it going down. Which is why I'm going to leave. Hit my nectar stash and wallow in frustration that we didn't get a black box and that we may have done all this for nothing. I invite you to do the same. You can join me in the lounge when you want to. And hopefully, after some sweet libation, my mood might improve. Don't stress over this guy too much. I wouldn't be surprised if he wakes up and can't remember his own name. Look at that head wound. What shit luck. Janari's probably laughing at us from her grave right now. Should've kept a black box, you... Oh, I am going to get a drink. Huh? Who are you? Why have you taken me? Where have you taken me? Oh, shit. This looks like a Kavari ship. They got me. Damn it. I'll never tell you what I know. And if you kill me, this information is stored in many different locations, and you'll never be able to stop the spread of it. You need me alive if you want to prevent word from getting out. Huh? Wait a minute. You aren't a Kavari. I don't know what you are. What are you doing on this ship? You're a fugitive running from the Kavari military? On their own military vessel? Huh. Why, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. How'd you pull that off? So you're not going to hurt me? You rescued me? From the hatchery on Yava? Oh. Well, that was mighty kind of you, but... why?
Why would you save me? Why would you even be there to find me in the first place? Looking for Janari's black box? Wait, to do what with it? To gather evidence against General Crux? He's the reason you're on the run? So you're one of his victims, then? Oh, that explains why I can't determine what you are exactly. You're rare. And I know no Kavari would ever relinquish his pride so to let another species into their military. Well, if that's the case, then we may be able to help each other. My name is Rilo Yuka, and I know where General Crux is building his world killers.